Just tell me what you've seen so far today. What are your impressions of what you've seen?
Well, I see the Northumberland people coming together, and they, of all the mining families are here, and the youth having their annual picnic, and I think it's just really fantastic what they've been able to do to bring it all together, and people are just so interested in their heritage, obviously, in hearing and seeing those expressions, different types of expressions, and their arts and their crafts and those sorts of things. It's very similar to what we do at home, and we have the Dreaming Festivals, and then you got Woodford, which is really out of our own control, but we have things like the Cape York Festival. They go for a week, and people from all around the world go to those places, or the stomping grounds over in Western Australia, and people are making things out of the natural things and environment, and it's very interesting that to even listen to the music, especially the orchestra, the choirs and the brass bands that are here. I mean, I don't get a lot of brass band type music, but obviously there's a very, very, very long history here of bands and being part of the people's struggle.
So yeah, you're right, and it's kind of at the heart of this festival. To boil it down, it's music, it's dancing, it's food, it's craft. All of that is mirrored in Aboriginal culture, isn't it?
Yeah, well it is. I mean, you get out into, say, the Garma or the stomping ground, or up in Cape York Festival, those sorts of things, and all the people come in, and they bring in all their works of arts and designs and those sorts of things, or they make them and they teach other people how to make them, and they have different sessions and different marquees about talking about their cultures, talking about their dreaming, talk about their language, all those sorts of things, and people can get involved with weaving, baskets and what have you, but also playing didgeridoo, those sorts of things, and people can get involved with an Aboriginal perspective in the conservation and the preservation of the environment.
What you said the day before yesterday about Woodhorn, and about, although it's a museum, it's a living culture. This is an example of the living culture, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, and that's the heart of it is here, obviously, and this is where the people's blood, sweat and tears is within this ground here. That's where they worked in the mines. And it's a very, very special place. It's its heart, its spirit is here, obviously, and people come back to it. It'd be lovely if it went for a week, and it grew. But this is all they need to have. And the people have heeded to the call of coming back together, socialising, talking, and obviously they'd be sharing all different types of experiences and things like that. I was happy to meet the squirrels as well, the red ones here, because there's an issue here in regards to environment for them and their conservation, preservation, and having pristine lands left for them to basically continue to survive. It's very important, I think, for the children and the younger, basically to learn about these things, that you've got to preserve them. And when talking to the squirrels, they were saying, what use are museums, what use are, zoos. And that's where most things are going to end up. And I think just the general populations throughout the world have been willing to allow this exercise of incarceration of animals in very small areas. And that's not the natural environment at all. But when you come to this place here, the Miners' Museum, there's something else here, and that's the ongoing living culture of this community, and it's shown in everything I can see here and in the museum, the paintings and stuff. Those paintings take you into the living room. Those paintings show you unions and peoples and workers coming together to organise and to discuss those priority issues that they're basically talking about in maintaining work, employment, education, training, all those types of things that are dear to their hearts, so that they can have a quality of life. And I mean, look at this, it's happiness all the way around. You know, you don't have any politicians standing up on the stage. That was one thing I've noticed, that politicians sometimes come in and want to grab the microphone and take over and say, well, listen to me, you know, and sort of champion for some support for themselves, but they're not here. I can't see them, and I didn't hear them, so it's really a people's day, and that's what it is really beautiful about it. You know.
So, has it surprised you to see this? Has it confounded your expectations?
Oh, yes, it has, because I had no idea to expect what a miner's picnic is, and I've never been to one, and this is my first time that I've ever seen that, and I've just seen so many musicians here. I mean, I was waiting for the choir and the stage to fill up, and it just kept going, and the line just got bigger, and it just got more and more people, and then you had the bands as well up there, the brass bands and that, and I was very concerned about whether it was going to hold them all, and just didn't want to never see a disaster or anything, but anyway, it didn't happen. And we had the opportunity to listen to some really great music, some really nice voices here.
So there's been a lot of talk about the mines closing.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about lack of employment.
Yeah.
In events like this, do you feel hope for the future?
Oh yes, because I think there's an opportunity where people basically start engaging with each other again. And that's the start of basically having the conversations and having people come into some kind of organised form to discuss their needs and their aspirations for the future, whether it's employment in coal, whether it's employment for the youth in education, training and all those sorts of things. And I just think that it's great opportunities where people start to gather to commence to organise more.